So we have here a chartered accountant by profession, a past district governor for Lions, and also a certified cost accountant. This is a very, very rare combination, I think. Being a chartered accountant and a cost accountant is not perhaps an easy job, and then he is a two-in-one that way. And as district governor, I think he passed through some very challenging moments. That was the Corona time and the time that came after that, before that. That was very difficult for anybody to achieve anything big. But despite that, like Manoj Kumar Purohit stood top of the universe and the whole world in many, many, many areas. So, in terms of retention, in terms of membership growth, in terms of contributions to LCIF, and in many other areas, he achieved miraculous success. He was a judge, top of the world in terms of reporting also. That was perhaps, again, a very, very unbelievable achievement because this was not 100% reporting for a club. This was not 100% reporting for even a district. The whole multiple district, he ensured that 100% reporting was done during his term. That is, again, another very, very important, significant achievement that he made. And during his period as district governor, 100% clubs donated to LCIF. Again, this is not an easy task. Every club in his district contributed some money or the other. And 7 new clubs were extended, and then special recognitions for membership growth and LCF contributions were presented to him in recognition of the commitment that he had shown and the contribution that he had made. He was also GST coordinator and GMT coordinator for our multiple district 320, and it was the first multiple district in the entire world to record 100% reporting that year also. And again, as the multiple GST, one very creative idea that he popularized. So collecting e-waste and putting it to proper use. E-waste is something that is, terribly a serious issue. And to save environment, he floated this idea. And again, this became later a national and global project also. As GMT of the multiple district, he again stood somewhere at the top of the world in terms of percentage growth. And he was declared the second highest in the world in terms of absolute numbers. So in terms of the number of members that we joined, that were brought into Lionism that year, so he stood second in the world. Babuji has already told us that he has been a very, very popular and highly capable, highly skilled resource person at almost all the programs that happen in our multiple district and outside also. So starting from CLLI to almost every big training program that happens, he has been a very, very popular resource person. Finally, I told you at the beginning of my presentation today that the topics were listed and they were presented to all the LCIPs who came forward to make these presentations, and everybody had a choice to pick up one topic from the list. And do you know why Purohit chose this topic? Because his own presentations are very highly participative and very often very humorous too. So maybe that's why perhaps he thought that this topic would fit him best and he chose that. And I'm sure we are all going to find out some insights into how humor makes our presentations, our training programs, our classes, or even our conversations much more enjoyable. Over to past district governor, Manoj Kumar Purohit.
Thank you very much, nagaRAJU, for your kind words. I'm highly elated. And yes, myself, yourself, and Bahura, we have been working for Lionism for quite some time. Let me get into the presentation. Are we able to see this?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the topic of today is humor as a tool for leaders. We are all leaders, We all know that we lead people, we lead teams, we motivate people, and see that our tasks are met. So I have to start with Happy New Year. And this is something which I received uh, some time back as Happy New Year. And this humorous anecdote is about 25 and 26. So 25 is gone and 26 has arrived. There was a clip in one of the particular films which had this 25 and 26 as its theme. So, on this humorous note, let's start this topic.
Purohit, the audio is not playing. Maybe you too. Now it's coming. Yeah.
So, welcome to 26, but not in this manner. Let's all raise to glorious heights. Now, I would like to start this with asking a small question. We often are invited to clubs as chief guests or installation officers or induction or officer or training or to speak. Does this give us a right to bore the audience or our participants? Yes or no? Simple answer. Sometimes many of the speakers they bring a lot of papers and then keep on reading about that. They don't bother whether anyone is interested or not, whether anyone is sleeping or not. So, uh, does it give us a right to, bore people?
All
Are
answers.
we having some answers?
Yeah, there are many answers. All of them say no.
Okay, yeah. So when all of us agree that yes, we don't get a license to bore anyone, definitely that means we have to be entertaining in all our endeavors, whether it's training, whether it's introduction, whether it is any aspect. The moment we take up to the mic, people should feel that yes, here is a person who is talking sense, who is talking from his heart, and who is talking to us in the way which we want. So let's, when we navigate into this particular topic, the first point we would address is why humor. Why is the humor necessary for a leader? The next we will go into some theories about humor. Then we will delve into the psychological aspects of humor, move to types of humor. There are various types of humors, so that whenever we want to have some humor in our sessions, we should know what types of humors are there and which type of humor which we can use and which type of humor we should better avoid. And then the last point will be how to incorporate humor in our trainings, in our team, and in our meetings. So let's go ahead. There are basically many theories, but then there are basically three theories which have been developed over the years. And first of all, we'll learn about these theories. The first theory is relief theory. The name itself says relief. That is what happens. Usually, persons are fed up with a lot of things. They have got nervous energies. They get so many issues within themselves, and somehow we need to pend up. So Herbert Spencer wrote an article that is Psychology of Humor. In that he said every human body has a lot of nervous energy in itself. Equated it to a water dam brimming with water. And then if you want to save that dam, you have to let out some of the water. That's in the same manner. If we want to have our psychological system in harmony, we need to let out the nervous energy, or wherever there is a pressure of analogy of fluid which he mentions, we should let them out. And humor is something which enables us to do that. The second theory is superiority theory. Superiority theory is basically a hierarchical kind of thing where the higher level persons and lower level persons they make fun of each other, and that's something like teasing, calling names, pointing fingers, and these things definitely create humor. Several authors, writers like Thomas Hobbes, Plato, Aristotle, uh, and many others led to this theory and had worked on this theory and pointed out many things about that. So what they say is every person, a lot of persons love to laugh at the misfortune of someone else because they feel they are superior, and that's the way they laugh. The basic theory is that good happens to good people and bad happens to bad people. So bad people are to be laughed at so that they become good. So these kind of basic theories existed long ago. Then we had there are two types of things in this: punching up and punching down. Punching up means the juniors making fun of their seniors or their leaders, and the leaders making fun of someone or subordinates. For example, there were two executives talking to each other, and one said, "Do you know what kind of men I have? I have sent one person, gave them a white paper, and asked him to get Xerox." And that idiot really went to the Xerox station, got a copy of a white paper. Then the other person said, "Oh, I tried this trick on my staff also." And do you know what he did? He did the same thing. Then I scolded him. I said, "I wanted Xerox of the other side and you brought Xerox of this side." And that fellow again brought a Xerox of the other side. So this kind of fun of putting people down is called superiority theory or teasing. Then there is a third theory. That's like for easy terms, it's contrast. The proper name is incongruity theory. Here you can see a picture of a boat. Normally, boat is associated with water, but then here we see it's parked in a park. So something which is totally in contrast definitely brings some humor, and that is the basic theory. So anything which is unexpected, not in the set norms, brings laughter. Say people like Immanuel Kant had talked about that, and they said sudden transformer. You build something and strain it up, and then ultimately it ends up nowhere, nothing, and that creates humor. Schopenhauer said that more unexpected incongruity, the more violent the laughter. The contrast, the more is the contrast, the violent will be laughter. This is in Deccan Hindi. This will highlight this particular theory very well.
सब जबरदस्त है उनको सी तो यूनिक स्टोरी सुनाओ बा
स्टोरी सुनता एक गांव में एक राजा बचा
ये राजा महाराजा के काना ये मुगले आजम के जमाने के नको बा कुछ तो यूनिक को नफी सुनाओ डिफरेंट स्टोरी सुनाओ भाई डिफरेंट है ना
डिफरेंट है ना देख बच्चे एक गांव में एक गूंगा लड़का रहा था गूंगा बोले तो उसे बात नहीं आते वो जगह में एक बहरी लड़की रहती बहरी बोले तो उसके गाना नहीं सुनने आते लेकिन दो जने के बीच में बहुत मोहब्बत रहती सब बेशुमार मोहब्बत रहती गूंगे लड़के में भी और बहरी लड़के में लेकिन लड़के में टैलेंट रहता बच्चे
क्या टैलेंट बा वो
गाना बहुत सीधा बच्चा ने गाने का
गूंगा गाना गाता
वो बच्चे गाता उन्हें
गाता लो
अब इन्हें कोई से तो भी खेत में जाकर इन्हें गाना गाने का स्टार्ट करता सोचो बहरी लड़की भाग लेकर जाती इसके बाद
बहरी गाना सुनते क्या बा
वो बच्चे सुन ले बस नहीं भाग लेकर जब इन्हें मोहब्बत करते रहते जब इन्हें गाना गाते रहता उन्हें सुनते रहती अच्छी सीन चल रही सोच उनका एक खंदा चाचा देख लेता
अंडा कैसा देखता बा
अरे देखता बच्चे उन्हें देख को फिर चुपके भी नहीं रहता सो वो पूरा मैटर जाको लड़की के बाप से बोल डालता उन्हें पांप लड़की का बाप एक एक्सीडेंट में गुड़के तक पाँव कट करे रहते उसे रहने का पाँव यहाँ से कट कर डाले रहते उसे अब ये मैटर सुन को कोई बाप चुपके रहता बोले
कोई सा बाप चुपके रहता भा
से में आया सोच व्हील चेयर पर से उठा सो साइकिल के ऊपर बैठ जाता साइकिल के ऊपर बैठ को जब गाड़ी की किक की ने मारने के बाद घोड़े के ऊपर टुकड़ुक करता स्पॉट पर जाता है स्पॉट पर जाग देखा तो वो सीन चलते रहती इसकी बेटी गूंगे के साथ बैठ कर रहती वहाँ गुस्से में आया से चाकू निकलता चाकू निकल को शूट करता शूट करा तो जब वो लड़के को जाको तीर छाती में लगती तो लड़की मर जाती बच्चे
उन्हें निकालता सो चाकू गन कहाँ से आ गई तीर कहाँ से आ गई वो तीर उन्हें मारा तो भी वो लड़के को ना भरा लगना लड़की कैसे मर जाती है
डिफरेंट बोला ना डिफरेंट नहीं
So that's how it works. There are other theories also. That's a long list of theories, long list of papers being written on humor, and a lot of people, particularly the dramatists and authors, have worked on this. So I'm just pointing out all these things just to impress that we think that humor is an art, but it's a science as well. So let's move forward to the next question. Have you experienced working in humorless environment or felt trapped in a job which is very frustrating and humorless environment, or the leader who is very not at all humoristic? And what did you feel? Just in one or two words, you can write down in the chat box the feelings you had if you had ever worked in those atmospheres. Do you have some answers?
Yet. Yeah, the first answer has come from Dr. Mudassir. He says frustrated.
Frustrated, right.
Saqib Rahim also says frustration. And Mahendra Kumar Reddy says got bored because there was no entertainment.
Bored.
And Ritu Agarwal says constraint. It won't be a good interaction without fun. That is Bandham Praveen's answer. Frustrated and limited, Vijay Lakshmi's answer.
Okay. So naturally, these are the reactions which we have. So do we want to put others in that position by behaving that way? Is something we should ask ourselves. And these days, we have seen a lot of heart attacks in the young people, young professionals, a lot of brain hemorrhages, because the work tension is taking toll of a lot of people. The targets, on in lines, we are getting targets, goals, and students, they are overburdened with expectations. They are full of tension, and it leads to a lot of mental and physical disorders, and life becomes horrible for many people if we have such kind of situations. So enter humor. And in this atmosphere, when the humor enters, what happens? The pressure wall, it's like a cooker. We have got a pressure wall. The moment the pressure is beyond a limit, it releases. So the humor takes this role and it restores the natural chemistry of the body, releases endorphins, dopamine increases, cortisol levels are reduced, and it stimulates production of oxytocin. And these are all studies which have been made. And McKenzie, in his article and study, after his study, he published an article and did a survey. And then the survey reported that leaders with sense of humor are 27% more motivative. Employees who work for such leaders are 15% more engaged. They get engaged very easily. And their teams are twice as likely to solve creative challenges. That's a creative thinking of the subordinates or the followers gets doubled. So humor signals intelligence. If a leader is humorous, it speaks that he is confident, he is intelligent, he is able to handle people, he is able to interact with people. And humor allows sensitive topics to be addressed without triggering resistance, because a level of understanding is developed between the team leader and the team members. And when leaders laugh for themselves, they reduce the hierarchy differences between themselves and their team members. It also fosters the openness. The subordinates or the followers or the team members will be able to freely talk to him, freely able to reciprocate and give their own suggestions. So resilience is not about never falling. Yes, we will fall, but then it's about how quickly one gets up and gracefully can laugh while doing so. A lot of people have these reservations in adopting humor. The basic fear is a fear of offending. If I am humorous, my team or other person will feel offended, or he will take me lightly. The team will take me lightly, and then I will lose the respect which I want to gain. But that's not the case. We have to come out of our inner fears if we want to inculcate humor in our dealings. For example, George Bernard Shaw and Winston Churchill, it is said that they were crossing each other in a narrow passage. And Winston Churchill, as you know his nature, he said he was very angry with George Bernard Shaw. So he said, I don't give way to idiots. George Bernard Shaw simply stepped away and said, but I do. That's the way humorously leaders have handled themselves. And most of the leaders, they use humor to settle their verbal scores. Sometimes leaders face a lot of different situations. For example, when our Atal Bihari Vajpayee president went to Pakistan, one of the scribes, lady scribes, they stood up and said, sir, you are unmarried, I am unmarried. I have a proposal, I will marry you. But then in Muh Dikhai, that is, when you see my face, you have to give me Kashmir. Vajpayee sat back and said, okay, fine, I agree, but there is another custom of dowry, and I want entire Pakistan as dowry. Similarly, Indira Gandhi once unfortunately equated the opposition leaders as dogs. And me, one of the greatest, tallest leaders of that particular time, he stood up and said, in the treasury benches, we have got pillars of democracy, but then they should be aware how dogs treat pillars. Once at Oregon, an Indian went and challenged Osho, Rajneesh, in an open meeting that, sir, you and I come from a country which is very poor, but then here I see you have got fleet of expensive cars. It's a waste of money. You should have donated this money back to India so that it could have helped the poor people. Osho smiled, yes, what you say is correct. So what I will do is, this is the value of my fleet of cars divided by the population of India, and per head, it comes to just 2 or 3 cents. So I'm ordering my staff, and you, while going, you collect your 5 cents and send rest of them to collect their 5 cents. Obama was once facing an interview, and the scribe was trying to hit him back below the belt, or he was trying to drag him into something which Obama never wanted to get into. He straight away said, hit me high, hit me high. So that's the way leaders use humor to settle scores, or to avoid unpleasant talk, or to motivate, or to simply brush aside few things which they don't want. Gerald Ford, he was the president of America, and he wrote a book called Humour, titled Humour and the Presidency. The humorist aspects which he underwent during his presidency were recorded in this particular book. Queen Elizabeth, she was emperor for half of the world. And then in 1986, when she went to Tonga, egg was thrown on her, and her clothes got spoiled. The next day, she was to address the parliament of Tonga. And she said simply, while I enjoy occasional egg, but I prefer receiving it with my breakfast. Yes, Minister is one of the popular series on BBC, and it deals about the ministers, the bureaucracy, and the way they handle people. Lions are also not behind. We had a humorous leader in
Lions International President
Brian Sheehan.
will be driving our clubs forward, you ask?
And this was introduction.
Outside the box. All it takes is an unexpected twist.
We have never seen someone doing like this, throwing away his suit.
Into something new. Thanks, Laurie. It's riding the wave of technology and connecting it to what we do. Hi, Allie. Lions, our mission is to put our heads and our hands together in order to reimagine service. It means welcoming rookies and their ideas. Good communication.
This is how he added humor to all messages he would like to give.
We can reinvent
Since we have
Meals on
You must have seen this often. So I will stop it here and move on to the next aspect. Humor is a double-edged sword. It can cut both ways. So sometimes it can loosen the interpretation of rules. It can also signal that our leader accepts norm violations, chalta hai, we can manage things, or it could lead to severe breakdown of work culture and discipline in an organization. So we have to be very careful when we use humor because that's a double-edged sword. So the basic guidelines when we use humor are keep it positive. It should not be much self-depreciating. Should not try very hard. Everything should be very smooth. Also encourage others to be funny. It's not just enough for us to be funny. Others will also join in the fun. That should be the attitude. Then allow people to be themselves. Provide opportunities for laughter. And one great idea would be ask them to share humorous gifts. That way the bonding would develop. So these are the few guidelines which we can follow. Humor has got a lot of arsenals, and one should have all of them under his sleeves and should know when to let loose the one which he wants to go. Say, for example, jokes, wit, shairi, amusing behavior, comic language, face, banter, puns, slapstick. All these things are part of it. You should know when to start and when to, which one to use. There are different types of humor. Slapstick humor, which is very exaggerated, loud, like Charlie Chaplin, David Dhawan movies. And we have this wonderful person, Johnny Lever. When you see his expressions, it's are totally out of this world. His eyes are popping out and all that. So that kind of slapstick humor people create. But then definitely that's for artists or someone who is into humor as a profession. There is opposite of it is deadpan humor with a straight face. It's delivered. Then wordplay humor. People, make things from words. For example, when I went to a ladies club, I picked up names of those ladies and then ended up saying कि जहां पर संगीत हो कविता हो वहां तराना तो बनता ही है. And these three are names of those ladies. Then there is witty humor, which has intellectual engagement to the listeners. For example, when we had this atomic blast, APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the head of this project, told our Vajpayee, the Prime Minister Vajpayee, sir, this should be kept total secret. And Vajpayee quit back. Look, Kalam, you are bachelor, I am bachelor, and our defense minister is bachelor. So where is the question of getting the information leaked? Then there is satirical humor, which usually is practiced by politicians to settle scores. We had Jaspal Bhatti or a film like Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, which dealt with this. But this is again a very tough situation which requires a very cautious application. Then there is dark humor. Even this is a very serious kind of humor. It's morbid, sick, harsh, and usually not liked by people. So it's better we avoid because very few people can get away with dark humor. One of them was Ronald Reagan when he was shot and his daughter came to him, okay, and then she was aghast. He laughingly said, "Oh, nothing has happened. That fellow has ruined one of my best suits, nothing else." So that way, a dark humor can also be turned into a very positive thing. Then there is observational humor, when things are being observed and then something comes out of it. Raju Srivastav, as we know, he was the best at this kind of humor. Self-enhancing humor. So there could be humor when we lose, but then we put it in a better manner. So for example, someone may say that I failed the driving test, but I didn't knock down anyone. Opposite to it is self-deprecating. Self-deprecating is that it's quite opposites. So one such example is that when someone say, the last time some girl said, I'm hot, I was happy. But then when I looked back, it was a Bengali girl and what she meant was hat baju. Then there is something like trendy things. You observe things in society and then make some comment on that. For example, this is the latest that's been happening. So someone said we have stopped using oil in our home and we are using ghee instead, just to avoid getting kidnapped by Trump. And then I come from Telangana, and there's one cartoon over here where Trump is asking, how much of tail does Telangana have? And his staff is, trying to tell him, sir, tail doesn't mean oil here. And then one girl is putting oil on her hair, and then all of a sudden the helicopters are, drawing there. So these kind of funs are, or humor is typical, and it's better we use something which is very, uh, you know, up to dated. People will appreciate that. There is absurd humor which is called Saral. Kapil Sharma show is full of that, where people ridicule each other. Then one-liner humor. There are one-liner humor. Within one line, there is a humor. For example, in when evening show, it says good evening, but then later on it proceeds why the good evening is not. It gives 100 reasons of that the evening is not as good as it is. Then there are anecdotal humors. Then where past things are recalled and then something develops from that. Here is a clip which will enable you to understand few of these aspects, wordplay as well as anecdotal humor.
से बच जाऊं महाराज जी, मुझे लगा कहीं जहां दूसरी जगह ठीक ठाक सामान हो वहां जाऊं, तो उसमें फिर जब इनकी नहीं चलती तो ये महाराज जी का नाम ले देते कि महाराज जी आएंगे देख लीजिए आप। तो फिर मुझे लगता है कि महाराज जी का शासन है, सम्मान से बुला रहे हैं, चले जाओ, वरना सम्मान से भी बुला ही सकते हैं। हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी पे इतनी चर्चा होती है, मैं पूरे भारत में जाता हूँ, इतनी चर्चा होती है, लोग कहते हैं वे तो संत हैं, वे तो पीठाधीश्वर हैं और शासन, और हमारे यहाँ जो घटनाएं होती रहती हैं, अपराध मुक्त जो प्रदेश हुआ, तो मैंने लोगों से
ऑब्जर्वेशनल ह्यूमर
काम भी होता है। दो प्रकार के संत हैं, एक संत वो है जिनसे सज्जन व्यक्ति मिलता है और मिलते ही मोक्ष को प्राप्त करता है। एक हमारे महाराज जी, दुष्ट व्यक्ति दिखता है, मिलता है और फिर मोक्ष को प्राप्त करता है। दोनों प्रकार से साधन संपन्न है। अटल जी कहते हैं कि आपके घर पर कोई कूड़ा फेंकता,
टोटल ह्यूमर।
मोदी जी की, राजनाथ जी की पीढ़ी कहती है कि आपके घर पे कूड़ा फेंके तो आप उसे साफ कराओ, और मुख्यमंत्री जी की पीढ़ी कहती है कि आपके घर पर कोई कूड़ा फेंके तो आप कूड़े को भी साफ करो।
And it doesn't speak the word which is visible. So one funny thing for one may not be funny for the other. Other may think that it's bad in taste. So the best is affiliative humor. Let's keep it positive. It should be light-hearted. It should be inclusive. It doesn't, segregate between caste, creed, color. That kind of humor is appreciated by everyone. And such humor creates a sense of cohesion with others. It's harmless and something like inside joke. This clip will explain you what it is.
Advice? Well, marriage is adult education. You know, my degree, I would say, is wifeology, which is the study of female facial movement. Eyebrow angles I study, dental alignment, nostril expansion, oxygen
Yes.
for emotional expressiveness. See, being a wife is an art. Being a husband is a science. Men, we calculate, we listen, like for louder than usual closings of doors or drawers. That sounded different. Something is happening.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. The funny thing to me about marriage, I mean, divorce I don't really get. I mean, I don't get it.
No.
I mean, I understand in certain circumstances, but for the most part, whatever you have, that's the best we have. That's it. Do people wish it was better? Of course you wish, but of course you're a little disappointed. They're disappointed in you too.
So the skills we need for humor creation and delivery are developing sense of humor. For that, we can watch up comedians, observe cartoons in the newspaper. So when we read our newspaper, we read for news. But then when a cartoonist reads the newspaper, he is finding out something funny out of that particular day's events to create a cartoon, a satirical comment on it for the next day. When we deliver humor, expressions are required. Facial expressions do speak, body stance do speak. The tone could be teasing, pleasing, playful, depending upon the kind of humor you are using. It has to be spontaneous, natural, and mischievous. And the punchline should always be timed well. That was the only way. So what appeals to a child will not appeal to an adult. What appeals to a Western culture person will not appeal to an Eastern culture person. For example, a drunken falling on his face may amuse a child, but to an adult, it will create a pathetic feeling. Oh God, that's something not to be laughed at. So, to sum up, as the time is going up, the way a humor is generated or the way humor is narrated, it starts with a narration, it creates tension, it creates expectations, and then people will be wondering what's next. And then comes the punchline, the last one, where everyone explodes in laughter. This last clip will explain all these three stages of humor.
Well, a lot.
Narration.
First of all, he should be a gentleman. Next, he should be tall, about 6 foot, slim, no belly, lots of hair, not on his chest, a good dancer. Okay.
What next?
He should be much younger and in good health because.
What's much younger?
10 years younger.
So 80. 80-ish?
80-ish.
Okay.
Poker
He
faced.
should be in good health because I am not a nurse nor a purse.
Did you like the punchline? So thank you very much. God bless everyone. Thanks for being part of this presentation. Over to nagaRAJU.
nagaRAJU, you need to unmute.
Thank you, Manojji, for that wonderful presentation on how humor can make our presentations or leadership workshops or schoolings much more, not only just fun, but much more productive, much more profitable, much more rewarding, much more inclusive and interactive. Thank you very much also for dealing with various kinds of humor, various theories behind this humor, and also how each one of us can benefit from each of the points that you made by making our own presentations in future a little more humorous. This is question time now. So if anybody has a question, if anybody wants to make a comment, you are welcome. You can raise your virtual hand. I'll unmute you and you can speak. Time for questions, time for comments. I think Ramesh is ready. He always has a question, of course. Ramesh, over to you. Ramesh, go ahead. You're already unmuted.
I think there is an issue with his audio, sir.
No, I think he has prepared a list of questions and he's checking them, I think. He's not speaking. Anyway, okay, next question. Whoever else, if anybody else has a question. In the meanwhile, I think Muralidhar has risen his hand. Muralidhar, yes, please.
Good evening, sir. It's a very good program given by PDG Manojji. Always, he was also witty. Whenever I found him in the Lion Club programs, he cuts his jokes. And one thing he has forgotten about being Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, a sarcastic way of humor in Godavari districts.
I left it for you.
Whatever they speak sarcastically, and it gives a humor. That is their intelligence. They always speak sarcastic. So just I wanted to say thanks, sir. You made us half an hour little more active and all that. We are able to laugh something. That's a good thing. You are a good, always you are enterprising line. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you, Muralidhar. Thank you very much for that comment and also giving us an example of a culturally based humor, and culture has already been pointed out that it plays an important role in deciding what kind of humor is acceptable, what's not. So perhaps the Godavari districts have a certain kind of humor that's very popular there. Not in all cultures humor is acceptable at the same degree. Yeah. Before the next question comes, I would like to ask you, Purohitji. I've heard quite a lot of presentations by quite a lot of very, very popular, powerful, eminent leaders. Some of them are witty, humorous, and they bring in jokes, they bring in humor. And those presentations certainly are remembered for a very long time, and they are certainly good. But I've also heard some talks, some speeches, some presentations by people who are absolutely serious, thoroughly serious, but still they're quite impressive. They don't tell a joke, they don't even show any emotion on their faces, they don't use any humor at all. Despite that, they are extraordinarily successful. How do you think they manage that?
So, nagaRAJU, humor is just one of the tools. And basically, every presentation has to have good content. So once they have good content, it's always, it sells. And then the seriousness, suppose there are different kinds of topics where a lot of seriousness is involved. Say, for example, when a lot of information has to be doled out, it's very difficult to add humor into that. Yes, we are able to do it sometimes, but then there are certain subjects where it maybe not be very feasible to add a lot of humor. So they carry it easily well. So it depends upon the topic, it depends upon the person. And then if someone is not really very good at humor, it's better he doesn't try it also. Because he will try to make a caricature of himself if he is not very comfortable in being humorous. But then it's not necessary that everyone has to be humor. In my personal life, I'm a very serious person. But then when it comes back to dealing with training and all that, I become humorous. So one can easily switch on, but it needs a lot of practice, and not necessarily that everyone will be successful at that.
Thank you very much. I belong to that second category where people are very serious. I don't think I am capable of telling a joke. Even Baburoji also, I've never heard him telling jokes. He is one of the best in our multiple district. For those who do not belong to us, he is one of the best.
He is performer.
Content.
He is performer.
Ramesh, do you have a question now? Ramesh, are you ready? Ramesh, we can't hear you. Maybe there is a problem with your audio.
Ramesh has written it. What type of humor is best for line leaders? I said affiliating. It's very positive, simple, and it doesn't offend anyone. So that kind of humor is best. It's better to start with that. Then later on, if you progress well, you can try other humors also. That's observational or anecdotal. They are also very humorous. And I have already dealt with this subject, the satirical or the dead humor or black humor. It's better we should avoid them.
Well, Sir Damodar has contributed a joke in the chat box. He says the teacher asked, "What is the difference between pongal and pulihora?" So pongal is a dish, and pulihora is a dish. But the student said, "Sir, we get a holiday on pongal, not on pulihora." Purohit, because there are no other questions from others, I have another question. See, we talked about body language when you made this presentation. So how our body synchronized with the joke that we are trying to narrate or the humor that we are going to bring in. So I saw quite a lot of people who themselves look extremely serious. They crack jokes and everybody laughs. They don't laugh. I mean,
that's poker face.
Sorry?
Poker face.
So
most of the humor is poker faced, and that's the best, because if they start laughing, our laugher dies. So they make it so seriously, and then just watch, and then just watching them creates a good laugher, good laugh.
There is another comment here from Damodaran, I think. Can we cover malapropism under jokes category? Would you like to answer that question? Malapropism is a misplacement of one word for another, using two words, substituting one for the other. Can that be even
Yes.
treated as one kind of joke?
Yes, it can be. It can be. It can be humorous. And we
Kamal,
had this one
can I-
side, like abhi, in the clip when I said, महाराज जी बुला रहे हैं, सम्मान से बुला रहे हैं, तो चले जाओ, otherwise सम्मान से बुला सकते हैं. तो सम्मान and सम्मान, like that.
Well, that he says that he has joined today only because you are the presenter. And Satish Rajan says the whole lecture of PMCC and Dwarka Jalan from his district is full of humor. Many lions in our country have heard him many times. Yes, Lion Dwarka Jalan is one of the most humorous speakers among lions.
Yes, there are lots of
Somebody
humorous
has given the
speakers.
example of Lion Sai Baba. I think Vijay Lakshmi has given Lion Sai Baba also is full of humor. For every instance, he has a ready joke.
And nagaRAJU, we had P.S. Bhatia, who was a wonderful speaker,
Yeah,
and he was very
yes.
humorous. And in
Correct.
one of the meeting, he was introducing another gentleman, another past governor, Goenkaji. And Goenkaji has a firm which is called, what is that? Food, Fats and Fertilizers. So in one of the meeting, Lion Goenkaji said, at the dinner, what we eat is food. In the night, it turns into fat, and the next morning, it is fertilizer.
Then Ritu Agarwal, sir, generally people do not take humor in a positive way, especially in India. How to handle that?
I don't think that can be a generalized manner. People do love humor. The only thing is that if it is very satirical, if it is not, caring about the audience or making fun of a part of the audience, for example, making fun of ladies, or for example, making fun of gents, that's really not acceptable. But then if you are good, you can do it like this: make a comment on women and then follow it up with a comment on men, so you equalize it. So that way one has to be an expert in dealing things. So if it's one-sided, definitely it will not be appreciated.
Humor should not become, I think, caustic or harsh and painful, I think.
H.N. Singh has a good comment.
Yeah. He says, if laughter is the best medicine, why don't doctors just prescribe jokes instead of pills? That is the comment made by H.N. Singh. Yes.
Yes, mimicry
In
is
fact,
also.
doctors don't need to prescribe. We can prescribe it for ourselves. Then
Women doesn't make humor in presentation, Dr. Anand Kumari says. Yes, because they feel that they could offend people, but then there's nothing like that. There are many humorous leaders, many humorous persons, and ladies can also crack jokes, and particularly on us, we'll be happy to hear them.
In fact, some of the funniest people and some of the stand-up comedians are women. Quite a lot.
Johnny Lever's daughter herself is a very good comedian.
These days, quite a lot of stand-up comedians are doing wonderfully well. Okay, I think it's 10:11 now. I think we should close now. Let me go back to my slideshow once again. Yeah, this is where we stopped at that point of time. And then I told you that we had this presentation today. So we are on the 68th episode today. And we have just heard Manoj Kumar Purohitji talk about humor as a leadership tool, as a training tool. And we have the next presentation on January 22nd, exactly 14 days from now. All of you are aware that this happens every alternate Thursdays. So every alternate Thursday, we have this presentation. At the same time, Using the same link, you can join. And the next presentation is going to be made by Lion LCIP Saqib Rahim. And his topic is power of gratitude, something very, very useful for Lions. So how we have to teach gratitude, how to practice gratitude, that is going to be the topic for his presentation. I request him to propose a formal vote of thanks and also invite us to his presentation. But before that, I have a very small announcement. Usually, I don't allow announcements and things not related to SkillUP in my program, but this is again my own program, and that's why I am making this announcement. On the 10th of this month, this is the day after tomorrow, we have a panel discussion again by LCIPs. All of us you see on the screen are LCIPs, every one of them. So we are going to discuss various issues relating to hunger during this global weeks of service from January 3rd to 10th. We've been observing. This is on the 10th, that is day after tomorrow. Please join us at 7:15. We start at 7 o'clock. 7:15, the actual program starts. Please join us. Over to Saqib Rahim ji.
Thank you, nagaRAJU ji. It's very nice, and I must thank you first of all to PID Babu Rao ji for being with us for such a long time, and I see the first time probably, if I'm not wrong, our chief guest is with us for the whole presentation. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Very nice, Manoj Kumar ji, for such a nice presentation and very interactive presentation. Really, I have learned a lot of things, especially the theories. I was considering humor as just jokes and all those things, and never thought about the psychological aspect of the humor. Thank you very much for giving a very insight of the whole thing. Thank you to all who have participated today. And as we reflect on the power of humor in leadership, I invite you to join me in our next session. That would be the art of gratitude, or the power of gratitude, where we'll be also exploring another equally powerful leadership practice, how cultivating gratitude can be deepen our relationship and create a resilience for the leaders to be a good leader. So I'll be waiting for you, and we'll be all be waiting for you on the 22nd of this month, that is January 2026, for a very nice topic being given by obviously nagaRAJU ji. Thank you for elaborating such nice topics also, and see you on 22nd of January 2026 at the same password and same ID and the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Saqib. Thank you very much. We also thank past District Governor Dr. Ramakrishna Reddy garu for explaining that purpose to us, and thank every one of you. Thank you, Praveen, for translating that chief guest message, and thank you, chief guest speaker, and the future speakers, the past speakers, everyone who has attended this program. I have a few requests to make before we close the meeting. One, please pass on my invitations, my notifications about these programs to the friends that you know. If they are interested, let them come. And you can also share a screenshot of this with my mobile number, my mail ID, and also this QR code in case they want to join my group, WhatsApp group, to receive future messages. There'll be nothing else posted in that group, only notifications about the SkillUP programs. So you can shoot this QR code, and every fortnight I'll post one message about the next SkillUP program. So thank you once again. I close this meeting here, but the Zoom window will be open for another 10-15 minutes. And anyone who is interested in unmuting yourselves, you can do that. You can say hello to each other. You can, everything is possible now. So the next 10 minutes I'll be here, and the window is open.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం సార్.
నమస్తే పరశురామ్ గారు.
సార్ చక్కటి ప్రోగ్రాం నిర్వహిస్తున్నారు బ్రహ్మాండంగా.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Manoj ji, hearty congratulations. You are fantastic as usual. Yeah. There's so many, the perception what you have given us is really all around. And you're great. I couldn't stop laughing at certain things.
No, the time constraint was there. I had another material for another half an hour, then I had to finish it within 30 minutes.
Oh, my emojis were not disturbing them. I couldn't control, and I wanted to be more expressive. People are forgetting to be expressive. That is the hard part. They're too serious, taking
We
everything.
can't see your expression, Vijay, at this point of time.
Yeah?
We can't see your own expression now at this point.
You are hiding your expression.
Yeah.
You are hiding your expression.
Yeah, me. I'm elsewhere. And nagaRAJU garu, the topics you have given are really fantastic, Andy, with all your inputs and your great, what do you say, the introspection of the subjects, what are required is really fantastic. Thank you so much.
That's some kind of
Thank
a
you.
lubricant as this is flowing. Maybe sometimes.
No, these topics are giving us an opportunity to work on new subjects.
Yes,
Explore things, find out things, get deeper into these subjects, and then get you the cream.
Yeah. And all the very
It's a
best,
creative work.
Saqib Rahimji, for your presentation in future.
You must come next time also.
Yes.
Yeah, all the best, Saqib.
22nd of this month, I request every one of you to be here. Every one of you, please bring one or two more people with you so that I think it will benefit. The whole idea is to reach as many people as possible. So whether it is 80 people or 800 people, we are putting in the same effort.
Yeah. Sure.
రమేష్ గారు గోదావరి వాళ్ళ వ్యంగ్యం అది తలుచుకుంటేనే నవ్వు వస్తుంది. మీరు బాగా గుర్తు చేశారు.
Manojji, what do you think? We have normally for a humor, we have in Indo-Pak, this area where we belong. We have we go normally on the humor is based on some opposite sex or police or government and politics.
Yeah, there are some easy targets in humor. That's again that's part of where I said it's putting down people. Like there are many jokes on a few particular communities. For example, you have for Pathans, and some of us here have on Sardars. So these kind of crude jokes are part of culture in this subcontinent. But then it's better we don't do that. Better be with appellative humor so that
So
everyone
sometimes
feels comfortable.
sometimes it's very dangerous to go for with the humor.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
One
Such things
bad
are not
joke can
accepted.
lead to a war.
Maybe in a friend circle or somewhere, in a lighter manner between few individuals, that happens. But then, as a leader and as a teamwork and as a team member and all, these things are not good.
So if you allow me to narrate a share on Urdu, if you can understand,
Sure.
न जाने गुजरेगी क्या दिल पे ये कैसी वो घड़ी होगी, न जाने गुजरेगी क्या दिल पे ये कैसी वो घड़ी होगी, सुना है दरमियां हूरों के बेगम भी खड़ी होगी.
बेगम कहीं पीछा नहीं छोड़ेगी.
Yeah. So for my experience and my what I feel is when I always go when the teaching students, I am very conscious about throwing jokes, because what you think as a humor, that can be offending for the other person also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you are sitting with male and female gathering. So
double-edged sword.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I have made in many meetings where we have got mixed population, that's female as well as males. I start with commenting something on the female attributes, and then suddenly turn up the table on the male. Itna kyun has rahe ho? And then turn table on them, and it gets equalized, and everyone laughs.
Yeah.
And it's never taken in a bad sense.
And Manojji made a beautiful comparison between a joke and a double-edged sword, indicating that a joke can build a bridge as well as it can destroy a bond. Sometimes leads to a whole battle, a war. One bad joke can be thoroughly destructive.
Disturb the relationship.
Yeah.